Guess what Alex has just done? He's just done a whole narrative piece for you without setting it to live. It's twice now I've done that. Let's let this market open, and I'm going to go over it all again. But really, the key levels here. We are having an inside bar day, as we talked about yesterday. This level here, absolutely key. All right, where we found bids yesterday. If we keep rejecting that, potential for a rotation back down into these demand pools. If we reclaim yesterday's demand level, all right, if we reclaim this, potential squeeze back up into supply. I'm expecting a very choppy day of rotation. Okay, I'm expecting rotation. Might come down and then pivot up. We're going to go over it all again once we get through this open. I can't believe I've just spent 15 minutes talking to no one. What an absolute wally. If we go to the higher time frame quickly, you'll see what I'm looking at. All right. Demand structure is all the way down here. All right, we're expecting this pullback leg. Does it come down here? Does it do this for a trap and go back up? Remember, on a daily chart, we are expecting a pullback leg on the daily chart because we have extended into the top Bollinger and the supply. We expect a pullback before we resume the trend up. So does this pullback happen in here, build out a flag? Does it need to go deeper, fill the old gap and go? We don't know yet. So we're just going to let this market shake out. Once it's clear what it wants to do, I'm going to join. But today I am expecting an inside choppy day. It's exactly what I'm expecting. Twice as a charm. I literally just went over the most detailed analysis ever for 15 minutes to no one. But there we go. So Apple, like I said, without you guys on stream, finding some strength and some bids off the lows, right? Up 1%. Tesla up 1.2%. Everything else red on the day. Market a little bit weaker today. We have the VIX. All right, the VIX did try and put in higher highs, higher lows. It is starting to break its trend and possible rotation lower. So I do have one eye on that if it's going to come and retest its demand level to see if we get a bounce. But I'm not bullish in this market. I mean, I am pro-trend bullish, but I'm not bullish when we're selling off. I'm going to wait for it to show me. Either it flushes all the way down and puts in some trap down here, or it reclaims this. Otherwise, technically, we can rotate between this. Once we get above this area, make sure I'm on the right chart, we can rotate between these. All right, so we're probably in a liquidity building phase in the market right now. Really sorry, guys. That's that has upset me. Not a good way to start the day for me. So let's just see. We're currently stuck inside London's range, okay, as well. So New York opening inside London's range. We haven't swept London's low. We're stuck underneath VWAP. I also have this anchored VWAP off the high that we put in yesterday. Easiest charts to see it on right now are the ETFs. The ETFs look very, very clean. You can see the gaps nice and clear, and the potential demand structure and supply structure nice and clear as well. So I'm also watching the ETFs, but expecting some choppy action here today, this morning. I need to set it so when I press stream, it does it automatically. Right, good morning, Miguel, Chris, Jonathan, Idris, TR, Ramus, Thumper, Jeff, Glenn, Peter, David, Marek, Andrew, DJ Noah, Kathy, Peter again. Oh, did it? Yeah, sorry. And TR, yeah. All taking the mickey out of me, and so you should. What an absolute wally. Okay, so finding some bids here. Again, not in anything yet. I want to see how we act up here. If we get above it, it's going to open up and move higher. Otherwise, every move into here, which was yesterday's New York Open, down here in IB low, every move so far is being sold into. So potentially a huge bear flag here for a rotation. And at this point, if they start to soak, we can think about longs. The ideal point to rotate to would be this higher time frame demand structure all the way down here. Be really nice if we came down into this, but I'm not convinced we're going to do it. I think if we're going to rotate lower, it's possible that we're going to put in some form of bear trap, to be honest. Let's see. Let's just see what we get. So far, the market absorbing. VIX really starting to die here. So VIX rotating quite aggressively now into 15s. ATR a little bit smaller this morning, which is nice for a change. is your approach of 900. Let's just have a quick look on the book as well. I haven't done that with you guys yet. No big notable numbers. All right, the biggest order is down at 700, 171 lot. That was that demand block that I really like down there on the hourly. That's easiest to see on the hourly. This level right here. All right, this area here feels like a good potential buy zone because remember, breakout, resistance might become support. So how many legs do we need to get down there? And then once we put in bullish pattern, resume the uptrend. This might be a play tomorrow. It doesn't have to be today. It doesn't have to come at all. So back towards VWAP here. All bids being absorbed right now, but we know this level up here is supply. It's overnight supply, and it's the previous day's New York low or New York open. So it is a sensitive area. Do they sell this area, or do we pop through, get above it, hold price, and then look for a rotation into this next block up here? Those are the questions I would be posing right now. But overall, we are bullish. Technically, overall, in this market, we are bullish. If they keep rejecting this, we can just chop back and forth. Look at the chop we've had back and forth already since 4 a.m. this morning, just building out a range here. All right, very clear range here. No reason to get trapped in this range. Morning, Crawford. So do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button. I'm really sorry that I got it wrong this morning. So sorry. If you don't hear me talking within the first 2 minutes at 9:20, just tell me in chat, because clearly that's me just being a complete idiot at that point and getting it wrong. So just letting this build out. All right, I'm not in a hurry to trade inside days. My favorite days are pro trend days. So if this wants to do a big deep dive, then I think maybe Friday, maybe Monday, Tuesday next week, we're going to set up for a potential bullish play again. If this can break out and get above, then maybe we're going to rotate from here to here. And then maybe from here, we're going to get a sell back down and a retest of this. And we do this for the day. But I would not be bullish here, that's for sure. One thing I would not be doing is buying into confirmed supply that we failed to get through. The only buy would be back in here. All right, we are selling into this right now. Market staying heavy. I'll move this into a faster time frame for you if you want. All right, so retest of VWAP so far staying heavy. Back through that 9:30 opening print now. Are they looking to sell and rotate this, or are they looking to grab bids? Looking at the Mag 7. Mag 7 trying to go green, all right? Trying to go green. Tesla 0.1% up. Nvidia 2% down. Meta trying to go red to green. Google just about gone green, 0.3% up on the day. Amazon in a sell, 0.7%. Microsoft 0.7% down. Both of those down. Apple trying to base out here. So like I said, I am expecting a choppy day. That's what the market is going to try and provide. VIX starting to fail. Yeah, saw that. Yeah, 11 o'clock New York time. So we've got an hour and a half till then. Let's put in this right here. The New York open, so we know where we are. So you can see tightening range, inside overnight range. We're inside London range, right? Tightening range. Nothing outside of London yet. Stuck underneath the VWAP. ES is above its VWAP, relative strength. ES trying to come up and test previous day close here. Will the market follow? If this market really does follow and gets through VWAP, then there's a potential move, like I keep talking about, if we can get through and base above for this. If it fails to do that, then you've got to watch the trap to come all the way back down. But no plays for me yet, just waiting. It's one of those days today where I'm going to have to be very, very patient. So tapping on these key levels. Do they find some strength here for a squeeze, or is every single push sold into? A clear out of this level would probably be through 920s. Clear out of the stops would be 920s. Oh, let's change that. Definitely coming into these key levels here. How do we act? Remember, there's been sellers here all morning, all through London session. Sellers have been here. Not a whole lot on the book. Possible gap fill into previous day close would take us all the way up here to 22,000. But it would have to get through this first. It's kind of hard to show you a nice chart because we've gone sideways for so long. So trying to hold its view ups here, potentially trying to go for that gap fill. Remember, ES can also do a gap fill. ES is very, very close. So watching ES for that move into around 120. If they fail to squeeze above here, then potentially a sell back down for the rotation, for the edge play is possible. If they squeeze straight through, to be very, very cautious. This is the kind of day where edges will pay. So I'm watching this closely if they break this down, or if they clear out and then break it down. I'm also watching it closely if they break above and hold. Rejecting VWAP, rejecting supply so far. Starting to look like they are going to fail these highs here. Looking to see if I can join a bear flag for a move lower if it's going to do this rotation. I would have preferred a clear out, I'm going to be honest. A clear out first would be better. A clear out of 920 and then a fail would be more preferable to take both sides out of the market. I'm watching ES as well. ES starting to build nicely. Hasn't quite filled its gap into 120, 120.50. It's building higher highs and higher lows on a 5-minute right now, while the VIX looks like it's trying to find a bid at that old pivot at 1480. I do feel like this market might have a little peak and fail here, but it's a gut feeling rather than anything else. So far, structure is bullish in this New York session, right? We're building higher highs and higher lows just in this New York session. Remember, stops are all around here, 120. If we get above this and hold, then I'm thinking about a bullish rotation. If we get above this and fail back under, then I'm thinking about this short down here. Not in anything yet, just trying to wait to see if it will set up. Just zoom out, look at your London session, look at the last few hours. I wouldn't exactly call it pretty. Is a short ATR a little bit bad for trading? Can this represent some big and erratic moves that are coming? No, it's just consolidation. ATR is not always going to be massive. Yeah, so it's just more of a consolidation range. The ATR will increase when we do a stop run for a short time period. But right now, it needs to build liquidity in the market. It needs to build shorts in the market, or it needs to build bulls in the market lower at lower prices to probably increase ATR. It's too early right now, I would say, to be buying bullish. Right? There's no structural move in this market yet to say bullish moves. Very, very likely to be a choppy day. All right, just look at the daily. Daily's telling you that. We extended up to the top Bollinger Band yesterday. We went and tagged supply. We expect a pullback. The pullback started last night. The question is, how low does that pullback go? Is it enough? Has this pullback finished? Is that all it needed and we're going to return higher? We are coming into these key areas that I kept talking about. Yesterday's sort of open print over here. Are we going to keep rejecting this, or do we then let everyone through up into this next area. That's what I'm looking at so far. I feel like every move up, they're really, really struggling to gain control over this market for an upside push. Feels like it's just a matter of time until they rotate back down, but cannot be in a guessing game here. ES has got a little bit longer to go, right? Currently printing at 18. It can move up to 120 for the gap fill. Q's gap fill would be all the way up to effectively 990-ish. So 15-minute opening range has now been printed. You have your 15-minute opening range bar printed. Do they fail above this 15-minute opening range? Do they do a sweep and a failure or a rotation back down? Does ES need to do this gap fill? Looks like it really wants to fill that gap to the upside first to come and test previous day's close. Gut says we're going to go lower at some point, even if it's just to sweep out the lows of the liquidity built overnight. The question is when. Are we going to get this breakdown here now? Beautiful. All right, looking at this now to see if it's going to offer me a nice trade. We'd need to let go of flow zones. We'd need to let go of VWAP. Convincingly. Looking good. Need to see VIX grab some bids here. Watching very, very closely because we're just in a channel here still. That's the wrong one, isn't it? Where are you? This is what we're building out still. I think once we fill one of these gaps, ideally ES fills the gap and Q's trade through 920 and then fail. That would be a much better trade if it's going to do it. This will be a much better trade. Otherwise, if it does this and holds, I want to be thinking about the rotation up. This is what I mean about days like today are going to be tricky. It's going to present two options all the time today. It is not going to make it easy on any trader. They are adding slight liquidity above, but nothing of notable size. So is this going to be a bull flag for that run of the 920s now? Range is smaller. It's a standard VWAP, Ivan, so I don't change anything. I'm not interested in any of the bands. I'm only interested in VWAP. I'm only interested in the mean of VWAP. I don't care about any of the standard deviation bands on it. Should look exactly the same. ES very, very strong here. Relative strength in the ES. So like I said, it looks like it wants to go for those sort of 120s sort of gap fill on the ES. Watching the Qs to see if they're going to do the same. Or if they're going to do a push and fail here for a clear out move. If they push and hold, then we're going to think about the bullish rotation all the way back up. If they push and hold, I'm going to think about this. If they push and fail, I'm going to think about this rotation back down. Remember, most of the stops are at 920 on the Qs. Somewhere around there anyway. They start reclaiming yesterday's range. You have to watch out. Because the London high is all the way up at 950. Asia high just above that. Yeah, exactly, John. Yeah, it's likely to be an inside bar day. We talked about it yesterday after. Even in the morning, what I was expecting yesterday to be that big drive up to the top Bollinger Band. I'm expecting today to be a choppy inside bar. because we have to build liquidity. All right, we've had 1, 2, 3 giant days. Remember, we've moved off 215 all the way up to 22,090. All right, we expect a pullback after a change of character and break of structure. Yesterday, we had that change of character and break of structure. Today, we expect that pullback. We expect it to come and search for buyers lower. All right, the question is, how low is it going to go? If it just traps more bears intraday, it won't need to go that low. I would preferably love for it to come all the way down here to participate as a buyer down here. That'd be the ideal play for me today. So watching after we've cleared out, did we clear 20s? Pretty much. There's that overnight pivot. Didn't clear out that. That's a little bit ugly there. Not taking this guy out, protecting that so far. Really want to see him taken out before I think about anything else. So look across the market. Tesla, all right, almost 1% up now. Nvidia 1.1% down. Meta 0.018% up, very slightly up. Google 0.08% up, very, very slightly up. Amazon 0.5% down. Microsoft 0.75% down. Apple 0.5% up. Like I said, I feel like this is going to rotate lower, but I really want to see it clear out first, especially with ES so close to filling its gap. Cannot play this until it really sets up and shows me something. Do not want to get chopped up. Don't mind fading the edges if it does a failed breakout first. If it clears out the upside first, then I feel more confident about fading the edges. If I guess this top here and they start to squeeze all the way up to the next block, which would be all the way up here, I'm going to get absolutely ripped on. So what I don't want to do is try and guess the short up here. I want to see it push, fail, come under, ideally under VWAP, even under New York Open, and trade back down. Otherwise, if it does this, thinking about a bullish move. Semi's just having a bit of relief, I think. Market having a bit of relief in general. Even Bitcoin had a pullback and it's been absorbed straight away in the New York session, back up to 105s now. So back to VWAP here. So I am watching this very, very carefully. If this isn't going to clear out, like I keep saying, I would way prefer a clear out of 20s first. But if it's not going to do it and then it's going to rotate, I'm going to look to join. Remember, we have this channel. We're thinking about a rotation back down to the lower side of this, and if it really wants to get aggressive underneath here would be fantastic. All right, this is looking good now. So watching the move back towards New York Open. Always potential rotation lower. I'm watching these 5 and 15-minute bars as well. So failing to break out on that 15-minute bar, coming back into where we built liquidity from before. So here. How do we act here? Do we get stuck underneath or do we find bids and go again? Again, choppy market. Have to be cautious. Have to be smart about how you're playing this today. This is not a trend day. Very, very different conditions. Lacking targets upside as well. Just chopping around here. NQ stuck underneath its VWAP. QQQ above its VWAP. ES above its VWAP. SPY above its VWAP. Yeah, S&P definitely stronger than the Nasdaq. Definitely been stronger. Even that move yesterday eventually took a bit of time. Luigi, you want to go short once the upswing dies down? I've not even looked at that on gold he's talking about. It's tricky, isn't it, on gold, looking at that from a higher time frame. It's starting to try and find these bids off the levels you had sort of mid and early Jan, the old resistance. So I can see it's rolled over. You're looking for that higher time frame head and shoulder for the right shoulder, but it could just absorb and go higher there on gold on a higher time frame. All right, so watching this now to see if we're going to start to die. Looking good. I'm in small size here. We start to test this New York Open. If we start to flush deeper underneath it, it would be fantastic. If we keep absorbing off it, I'm going to be very, very careful. Not expecting a whole lot today. If we can do a deep move to 700, I will try and hold a runner all the way down as we start to break down here. Lovely. So never went and swept that liquidity at the top, so much smaller size than I'd like to be in this. Looking good now for this breakdown. Like I said, felt like the short was coming, but really would have preferred to see it sweep 920, and then I would have sized in a bit better. Would want New York Open to stay heavy here on any retrace. Especially after sweeping this little guy here. Would need this level here to stay heavy for potential ads if we're really going to rotate. Need to be careful because we're midpoint of the range on a choppy day, so I do need to be cautious here. But still instinctively thinking they're going to have weakness, we're going to rotate for lower prices. Just watching this 15 minutes bar as well. And we get a new break of structure, a new type of bear flag being built out here for a rotation into the current low of session down here. This is what I'm thinking now. You're going to offer me something to risk off. Want to see New York stay heavy. If we start to squeeze through New York, I'm going to become less interested up here. Like this. This is the trouble with these kind of days. It can happen very, very quick. Need to see this stay heavy up here. Watching the tape. Still have that big buy, 170 lot down at, where are you? 21,700. That is where I'd like to think about buying. Not because of him, just because of how it looks down there on an hourly. Point of control now. We are under point of control. All the time we stay heavy here versus POC, which is around 96. Potential for lower prices. Reclaim that. Could get very, very ugly very, very quickly for shorts. Watching this hourly, right? This hourly here. If they start to reclaim this and drive up here, all these shorts are going to force to stop out, and then we go next level. If we keep staying heavy here, this can be the build out to come down. There you go. So this is the squeeze that I was talking about. It's why you have to be very, very careful in these markets. A rotational market which hadn't swept that high. I don't try and counter trend the higher time frame. I try and play the counter trend leg. So if I'm expecting the pullback leg today on that higher time frame, which is what I'm expecting, then I'm looking for that short back down. Once we get into the areas of demand on the higher time frame, Luigi, I'm looking for a long signature to then go back upside. And so far, we're just trading in a 52-point range in this opening drive for the opening half an hour. Here's your new hourly bar. So this becomes key with that point of control. We opened right on that point of control on that hourly bar. So again, the chop continues, just like we expected. Back to VWAP here. Remember, the stops are at the 920s. We didn't take them out. If we get through that, there is a move, a rotational move higher. These guys here, let's just move this up a little bit to here, make it a bit cleaner. If we get through that as a rotational move higher, if they keep building out here, there's this move down, and there's this move up for the squeeze. Like, it's messy. It's going to be messy like this all day until it becomes very, very clear one way or not. I would prefer lower prices right now. Can we get a dumperoonie here? Vic's trying to find a bid. Watching this, if we're going to get continuation versus the flow zones versus New York Open, can we get a break of structure underneath 79s for a move back down towards 67s, and then a break lower into that London low would be down towards 855s. ES coming back towards its VWAP now. Can we get this break? There's your break. I've got to take a little bit off here. Again, I haven't got much size on this, unfortunately. Watching this IB low, current low of day. If we can break that, really, I'd like to hold then, if I had the ability. If we're going to really start to break under here and under 50, this is the Asia low down here, or London low, I should say, right here. If we're going to break under here and this, at this point, I'm going to try and hold a runner all the way down into this block. All right, this is the move I'd really like today. If it's going to do it for me, that would be fantastic. If it's not, so be it. ES at VWAP, right? Don't want to see ES absorb VWAP here. Bounce off VWAP so far on the ES. I want to see the NQ continue to sell. Remember, you're the edge of the range here. We've traded from one side of the range effectively to the other. Here's your range. Failed outside, failed underneath. All right, what I'd like is this. It might be asking too much, but that would be really nice. What we expect is this, maybe this, maybe this. This is all still inside bars. All right, if I go to a daily, still an inside bar, right? Remember, this is your low yesterday, your high. We're expecting an inside bar to print because it will set up a continuation pattern to go higher. If I hadn't ruined the microphone this morning and remembered to set it live, you would have had a very detailed explanation of why I was looking for this today, but hopefully you can kind of understand. God, I'm having a nightmare with my mouse here this morning, trying to draw for you guys. So coming back down to the edge of the range, finding some absorption there for now. VWAP holding up on the ES for now. SPY trading right at VWAP. I would still like lower prices. All right, I would still like lower prices here, but let's see. Very, very tight range. Can take out all this range in one candle if it wants. 52 points. VIX trading back upside. I really just want to see this drive lower now. I want pops to fail. So far, it's holding that VWAP again. Can we get an extension through the lows? Yes, through its VWAP now. Now I want to see this market continue, looking better now. Looking better for a bear flag continuation. I just want to see it dump. Do not want to see it fanny around here at the lows. I want to see it come straight through the current New York low of day. Do not want to see ES reclaim VWAP. I'm watching that very, very carefully here. This should be moving lower. We should want to move lower, especially with the VIX. Look at the drive on the VIX now. That's giving me more conviction now. Very nice from the VIX. Retesting 15. Want to see VIX trade through 15. Want to see ES letting go now. This is looking good for a flush point coming. Want to see us trade through low of day. I am locking a little bit in here. I've been trying to add on pops, but I am aware we're still in a range, trying to remind myself that as much as my conviction is lower prices, we're in a range. VIX right at that 14.99. Trade through 15 and upside would be great for conviction in this market. And be hands off here for a second. Let it shake out. What's the time? Point of control still above. Wow, big drive. Taking more of my size off there into break even. All right, so locked most of that in. I can always re-add. Again, tight range today. It's only 52-point range in the session. So if you got 25 points out of that for that fail, it's pretty good. Biggest issue we've had, again, we haven't swept the liquidity up here. And we've left these guys in the money. These guys are in the money. I still want lower prices, but hey, I'm not going to fight with this market in a range. It's one thing I'm not going to do. Maybe if we're lucky, we get this kind of move. That'd be nice. And then after that, I'm not thinking short at the lows. SPY to VWAP now. Morning, Tyson. Just letting this shake out. Like I said, I've stopped out on that last drive up. I've locked in some decent money on that trade. $775 up on the day so far. Just waiting now. Trying to remind myself I'm expecting chop. Even though I want lower prices and a drive lower, I'm expecting a choppy market. We have rejected this channel top up here, but we did not sweep all the liquidity. So we know it's left stops in the market here and it's left stops in the market here. So we're still in a range here. And I'm trying to remind myself that and respect that as we trade back towards New York Open here. There is a bullish setup here. Like I said, if we get above the red box and we print upside, we retest and we hold, there's a bullish setup. So I'm trying not to be too biased in this market. Said it in Discord before. Really trying to just let this market do what it wants to do today. 80 of you watching, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Let's share this video out with some friends, with some fellow traders. We're 100% win rate so far this week altogether. We've had some bangers on stream. I'm watching this M15, watching this H1. You know, the H1 is just ugly right now. Is it doing this? If we reclaim, we come up to the next section, then you know what this has been used for. Otherwise, we do a deeper dive down to retest. All right, what would this be down here? It would be RBS zone here. Resistance becomes support. The one thing, though, is that it could set some form of trap before it gets there. Something like this swing to this swing. That would actually be really nice. Into 50% of that would be a great move. That's me as a bull wanting it down there for a cheap trade. Those who trade with me a lot know that I'm a bit of a cheapskate. When I'm buying, I want cheap trades. Remember, if we're playing shorts today, we are counter trend on terms of a daily chart. We're going to start breaking below this. We can look for this move down here. If we reclaim this, a trade back up to here. How we act at this point then becomes key for a squeeze or a failure and chop more to build liquidity out here for the next few sessions. There's the squeeze back up. This is why I'm not going to get in this short right now. Just letting it figure out what it wants to do as we trade back to point of control yet again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours we've spent here now in a very, very tight range. That last push on ES was a bit weaker though. Watching the markets, let's have a quick look at the MAG. MAG mixed bag as well. All right, if you want an indication of a bit of a choppy day other than the inside bar, look at the MAG. They're all mixed bag. New York VWAP rejected hard. What's that on the ES? Can't imagine it rejected hard here. Where's the open? Print above, print above. Yeah, sort of. I would say this is like a trade above, trade below, trade above, trade below kind of day right now. If you're running this as your New York. I see what you're talking about, Mooney. But I think this is just how we trap traders. Remember, I covered some here and I faded some here. Cover, because this is the range. There's not a lot to work with right now. We get above here, we can have a squeeze. We get above here and fail back under, we can have a fail. Those are the setups right now. There's nothing else setting up right now. Anything trading in between this, you're asking to get hurt. Back to VWAP here. If we had already swept 920 and we were doing this move on NQs, then I'd be thinking more about how can I get short to go and attack that London low. Sorry. Thank you, TR. If we'd already cleared this out and this move here was a failure back down, I'd be thinking about, is this a possible short opportunity back down? But because we haven't, we've left so many people in there. I don't feel comfortable right now thinking about a short. Even this short I took, I didn't feel fully comfortable in it knowing that this was here, but it just made sense for at least a rotational test. And think about the initial balance today, 52 points. What have the last 2 days been? 200 points, 300 points? VIX trading back downside here. So failed 15s, could not reclaim VIX 15s. Back to previous day open. Back towards session lows. Not in anything right now. Just knowing the conditions, what I like to trade. Not a setup I like to trade right now. Leaving both sides of liquidity, not the perfect setup for me right now. Well, there's never a perfect setup. Watching ES though, I am watching ES if it's going to start rejecting here. But it's hard with everything above VWAP and above their 5-minute flow zones. It's hard to think about a short rotation here. There's still a gap fill potential above as well. So a bit of a slower day here, team, but that's all right. I'd rather try and minimize my trades today and be very, very particular with them. We've had one go, I had one add on it, and we made some good money on it. That's all I've got so far. Rejecting VWAP here over and over again, but every other ETF and ES is above its VWAP right now. Liquidity on the book, 21,925. There's a 55 lot up there, and then 21,950. There's a 70 lot up there. So are they going to try and use that to drag the market up? Again, very tight range so far this morning. 52-point range this morning. We were getting those in 1 minute candles the last few sessions. I know this is printing a buy signal, but if you moved to a higher, slightly higher time frame chart, you'll just see that we're kind of flat. Look at the flow zones. Everything flat right now. Look at them for the last few hours. This is beautiful. These are the trades that I like. Nice trades, nice trades, nice trades, nice trades, nice trades. There's your trap underneath, pivot up, and now we're into sideways action. These are trades where you will get damaged in. These are trades that will pay the bills. Pivot up and hold, we trade all the way back up. Failure here. Maybe we get a new trend lower down to that next spot. So that's what I'm waiting for. Waiting for the market to show me, does it want to trade back upside for a squeeze up into here? Or is all this liquidity going to be used for a new trend play down into here, which will look something like this, right? We'd be looking for something like this to happen into here, and then we can get short for that move back down. Or if it holds, it will be a trend play just back up into here. Rejection VWAP back into New York Open. Chop, chop, chop. I mean, yes, it is, but market's just waiting anyway. Regardless of that speech, the market needs to do what it's doing now. It wouldn't matter if he was talking or not. They might use things he says as a news piece for liquidity in the market, but the market needs to do what it's doing right now. Understand the higher time frame narrative. This move, regardless of what Trump's doing today, what we're doing right now is highly probable based on what the daily has done the last 3 days. The buyer stepped in down here towards 80s. We're back to the New York Open, right at the midpoint of the session. Mag 7, complete mix. Complete mix. Apple 1.2% up. Google flat. Meta 0.25% up. Tesla 0.5% down. Nvidia 1.2% down. Amazon almost 0.5% down, and Microsoft 0.75% down. So complete mixed bag in the market. So flow zones flat, VWAP flat, printing an inside day. Trading back towards those lows. Watching ES carefully if it's really going to actually let go here as it trades back towards its VWAP. Do they start to fade pops, or do they hold the bottom of this range again? Bit of divergence going on here in the market. I'm watching this VIX at the lower day as well. I'm watching carefully in case we get that drive down and the snap and the liquidation back towards the London low. If they're going to do that, I will participate in it. ES back to view up again. Dajin05, hello. Hello. Thanks for joining. Trump to sign executive order at 2:30. Just hit the wire there. Don't know what that order is on. I'm going to have a look. In the news feed, let's have a look. That's all I can see for him so far. Yes, back to view up again here. Wondering if it's going to just let go after all these drives higher and come and clean out some of this trend line liquidity on ES that it's been printing since that pivot at 420 this morning. Yeah, Dajin, ask questions away. I'm sure people in chat will help you if I can't. Watching on the book here, we still have that big order down at 700. There is a 100 lock starting to come into the book at 800 now, and we are still just printing at the midpoint of the day. Yeah, most of the market they cannot make up their mind today, Ty. So you've got, just look at the Mag 7, some are red, some are green. Markets in an initial balance, markets printing an inside day. High probability conditions for chop. Right, these are high probability conditions for chop. ES holding that view up yet again. Back to view up on the Qs, on the NQ. Looking to attack the top side. Remember, all those stops are at 920. They never took them out. So possible W formation here. So we went 1, 2, 3. Are they starting to hold this lower part of the range for this now to come and attack this? And then how we act up there will matter. It will matter. The volume there has picked up. Look at this volume here for the upside. That is picked up there. So maybe short's a little bit stuck here. I don't know. I like trading view to trade, and I use Tradeovate broker, but when I try and trade NQ and ES, etc., it won't work. I don't know what to say there, buddy. Without understanding your screen, just make sure you're connected on Tradeovate. Make sure it's linked. Make sure you're inputting the right information that you're trading into your DOM, or however you're trading it, your execution box. Yeah, exactly. Small cap trader. Choppy day. Exactly what we expected. Chop, chop, chop. Exactly what we expected. Now printing above that point of control. Value area high on the session is basically these hourly highs at 920. All right, and then through that probably gets a little bit thin all the way up to 950s. ES, though, it looks a little bit weaker here than the Qs. Interestingly, it's struggling to trade back towards the top of its range on a 5-minute bar right now. And its weakness in ES starting to show in the Qs. If Qs don't hold this level that they just dipped from before, all right, so we went from here, 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 here. If they fail to hold this, then you might get a rotational play lower. Technically, we're still holding this. This and this becomes key. Starting to look a little bit nasty here for the Qs after that last push up. So I am watching this carefully. Again, if ES is going to let go of VWAP, I will want to participate in this for new lower prices. I'm still watching that London low into 850. I know there's players on the book here. 870, 800, 700. I'm watching all these players. Say choppy day. Again, you've got rotation, supply rotation. We know demand so far on the session has been here. All right, so in between this, messy. Outside of this, failed or stays heavy. Yes, looking very bad here. Looks like it's going to go and sweep all that liquidity. So I want to see if Qs want to follow here. Can it offer me one more scalp or something? And then hold runners, I don't know. What does chop mean? Chop just means building liquidity right here. Higher time frame market, building liquidity. There's no trend direction in here, is there? Look at this. Right, that's chop. This is building liquidity. Liquidity is built by having stops built into the market. All right, and once we have stops built into the market, we can use their stops as fuel for the next move. Yes, holding on here just about. Just about. Hasn't cleared any levels at the lows here yet on the ES, but I think it might very, very shortly. What's the time here? 2 minutes until we get a new 5-minute, new 15-minute, and new 30-minute candle. I am watching this right now very, very intently to see if ES is going to let go and if Qs are going to follow. This New York Open starting to become very, very important in this session. Oh, sorry about that. This is the anchored view up off the 930. I'm actually going to remove that because it's not really helping out much today so far. We're just trading back and forwards. So no need for it for dips into it and stuff. What drawing tool do you use to draw those yellow lines? And there's like this. This is paintbrush. Is that what you're talking about? It's just a brush. Is it available on NinjaTrader? I don't know. I'll have to have a look. I'm sure you can download like a drawing tool box for NinjaTrader, which would have a brush on it. So ES looking like it might want to go and clean out some of these buyers' stops underneath. Qs holding up so far. You've got to think if ES starts to flush point, maybe the Qs would do the same. They're still just in a range. Look at the 15-minute. The 5-minute, the hourly, it's so ugly right now. It's really ugly. Apple almost 1% up now. So Apple having that relief bounce day so far in the market. Rest of the market, choppy. Very, very choppy. Yeah, 30-minute is like that. Also, the hourly is really as well. 15-minute. Big wicks underneath more on the 15-minute so far this morning. Flat tops. Still watching ES here. Stuck underneath its view up now. Hasn't swept any of the liquidity to the low side. We're starting to have a little bit of divergence in the market here. As NQ's trading back towards the top side of today's range and ES is trading at the bottom. So very, very ugly conditions. Again, these are all signatures of choppy, horrible types of days. You need to be smart here. Back to VWAP again on the Qs. We're just trading in tiny ranges here, 10, 20 point ranges most of this session. Max range on the day is 52 points right now in this initial balance, which we've just printed. So IB rules now apply. ES back to its VWAP, SPY under its VWAP, QQQ over its VWAP, NQ at its VWAP. VWAPs are printing sideways on most of the indexes right now. Good day to do not very much right now. I would really like to see this breakdown. I'm going to be honest. This is what I'd like to see. I would have preferred it if we set this earlier, but I would like to see this move here. This move here opens the gate, not just for a short today, but for better longs later in the session and tomorrow. Well, I don't love the move if we do this to go up. I know there's a play here, but it's not giving me a whole lot of move for the upside. All right, and then I would expect some sort of failure back down again. But if we come much, much deeper today, or if we can come and take out, come on, if we can get stuck and come and take out this guy and maybe do a quick rotation down, then down here, tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, I'm going to be looking to potentially play that long all the way back upside for an all-time high kind of move off the daily, based on the daily. Otherwise, there's not a lot I can do today if it's going to just do this. Boring day to stream, I know, guys, but what else do you want me to do? You know, it can only do what the market gives us. It's the most important thing. Cannot force yourself on a market. You have to do what it presents to you. Right now, it's not presenting a lot. ES now reclaiming. Maybe going to go and tack those stops that we talked about, which it never cleared at 920. I'm going to be right back, team. All right, so can it clear out those stops now? Is that what it's going to try and do? And then what are we going to do once we get through those stops? Are we going to base above, or are we going to take the liquidity and fail back inside? So are we going to do this move for the play all the way up into here, or are we going to steal the liquidity and roll all the way back down? Same plays we've been talking about all morning. I'm going to watch the book to see if they add any liquidity higher to try and drag it up. So far, nothing notable up there. So there is the stop run, finally clearing out some of the liquidity. ES can go and do a gap fill here if it wants. Remember, the Q's gap fill will be a move all the way up into the next level up here. So finally, feels like it might have trapped enough shorts. We have to see how it reacts up here, though. Not super convincing right now, is it? Of being able to hold those gains. So this area here where it broke out from, probably key, needs to hold this and do that. Otherwise, this and do this. I'm really just not very interested in this right now. VIX testing lower day though, which is pretty bullish for sentiment on the ES. I'm going to be patient here. I'm going to let flow zones catch up. If it wants to do this move all the way up into 980s and stuff, I need to just be patient here. Sit up straighter in my chair and look after my back. So seller come on the book at 950. ES coming back to its IB high here. Remember, it has gap fill above to PDC, which would be into around 120 on the ES. So they're starting to do this breakout move here. I really need to see flow zones catch up and some more sort of liquidity start to build out. Oh, I don't want to get caught in a failed breakout here with the ES failing, but this is looking very, very strong now. VIX dropping back down, adding liquidity. So maybe this hourly move now into these old key levels into around 50 we talked about at the beginning of the day. If it gets stuck there, though, we're going to think it can now rotate between these two sections, right? If it's going to base above here, it can rotate between these two sections and build out. Just watching my daily chart when I'm looking down here to see where we're sort of coming into. So ES poking through IBH. Remember, it's got that gap fill potential above it on the ES. It's really, technically, we can move this to blue now, the edge of that, if that holds. Drifting higher now. A bit like yesterday, drifting higher, but I'm way more cautious than yesterday. Way, way more cautious for an upside move than I was yesterday. ES getting very close to that gap fill now. Just poked into, where do we hit there? 19.75. I have the settlement at 120.50. So ES very, very close to doing it. Sellers on the book here. On the Qs, 40s, 45s, 50s, 55s. Not in any of this, unfortunately. A retest wasn't enough for me to really think about this holding yet. It still hasn't retested anywhere near enough to me to be confident in this rotation back to this block up here. Would need to see it really convincingly hold this. And I'm still not saying that this is out of the works yet. I still think this is a possible play if they fail. So maybe I'm being overly cautious today, but those who have traded with me for many, many months, weeks, years will know that my preferred days are trending market days, and I'm not convinced that today will be a big bullish trend day. Much more high probability to have an inside day, but maybe I will live to regret it. Yes, Trump in 20 as well, of course. Almost there, team. We just need 11 more likes on the stream. Do me a favor. If we hold the initial balance or around these levels here, then maybe this is a play here. If we're going to fail this, then I feel like we use this liquidity to come and attack back downside. We know the stops were there. The low-hanging fruit trade, so to speak, has been taken at 120. We fail under this, there is a rotational trade back down. This is what I'm saying you have to be cautious of. Making it hard with ES not tagging into previous day close as well. So it's not been fully efficient there, so it can still drift higher first. Tyson said he made someone that. Good for you, mate. Yeah. I don't even look at it and regret it, to be honest. Like, it's hard for me to pull the trigger on something like that when an inside bar day, even though I knew those stops were there. We talked about these guys here and these guys here in the red line. They protected this low. I guess if this was the long versus this is actually not bad RR. How they act now is key on these retests of the initial balance. Apple having a better day here, 1.10% up. Google 0.5% up. Meta 0.75% up. Everything else red on the day. Microsoft 0.75% down. Amazon 0.33% down. Nvidia 0.75% down. Tesla trying to go red to green. It's trying to go red to green. It's retest so far, holding those flow zones, potential bull flag. I'm just really struggling to find conviction today. Right, from a technical standpoint, if we hold this, yes, there is a trade up to here, but I just really struggle on an inside day to want to take this as a trend up. Like I said, I might live to regret it, but it's just, I do not love it like I would on a day where we're doing this on an outside day. Way prefer these moves when we're trading outside of a range. We're going to do that flush move back down and get stuck. We can think about rotation. If we're going to do this and get stuck, we can think about rotation. IB low, overnight low. And then beneath that into the bigger demand pool. All right, remember this would be all the way down here. Bigger demand pool and this here for daily and an hourly. Yes, very, very nearly filling its gap. Sorry, I only just see that. So while we're drifting lower, ES about to fill its gap. There you go. ES now filled it. Efficient for the ES. So does it sustain bids? Now on the upside. All right, so if ES is really going to get going, the next level, there's a low pivot around 25, and then all the way through that, you could trade to 33 if it's really going to get going. Yeah, I'm just not convinced on anything, Tyson, right now. And I think it's interesting that they're pinning it here just before Trump talks. Market's starting to feel a little bit jumpy here in general. Oh, wait, it's moving. So ES starting to accelerate now. It's got through that previous day close, starting to really accelerate up. I might just grab a refill of coffee here, guys, and then come back. Okay. So if you take that IB and that flag, don't look too bad right now. Potential squeeze play is there for a move through and up to the hourly. Next hourly block would take you around those 50s we talked about earlier. Yeah, I'd say around 50s. 50s all the way up to 69. So really this block could start around here, generally speaking, down to 50s. What comments did Musk make, Tia? I might have missed that. What are they disagreeing on? Is it something on energy? You've got to just think now we're going to go and test old value area low. It just feels like that shift happened so quickly once it reclaimed this area, and maybe I'm an absolute sucker after calling this out all day and not taking it. Kind of feels like that way. It just shows I'm not perfect. I can see stuff, but so when I lack conviction, it's very hard for me to pull the trigger. And I might be the sucker of the day here if this is going to go all the way up. And then the old value area low would be 975, and the old point of control would be 22,025. So if we get anywhere near that, I'm going to feel like an absolute idiot. So watching 950 on the tape, 50 lot there, 945 on the tape, there's an 80 lot there, and then there's a 50, 60 lot at 55s. Yeah. While we're waiting, I think I know, but can you explain consistency rule of 20%? Is it of your total balance? You cannot have one day trading result above 20%. You can have a day that trades above it, right? So I always talk about, let's say, $150,000 account. You need $9,000, right? So split that up into 5 trading days. That'd be $1,800 each day. So if you hit 5 days of $1,800, you would have reached that total. I think you still need 10 days total, but let's just do it that way. If you make more than that, don't worry, just trade more days, right? So that your account size gets bigger, and then you'll trade more days, and then your consistency will start to come in line with it. All right. But otherwise, yeah, just do 20%, aim for 20% max of that total goal. But if you just wait and trade more days, that's also fine. So let's say one day you hit 3,000, just trade an extra day, you'd be fine. Luigi, Elon didn't give Trump campaign 400 million or so to sit on the sidelines and not have a say so. I am not up to date with these comments clearly, so I will do a bit of research and read about this afterwards. Right, back to these levels here. Now, just for my own ego, I want these to fail. But ES is looking pretty good, right? ES trading around higher day. But if these start to fail and roll back down, maybe I get a trade. Maybe I get a trade. Oh, you got to laugh. No worries. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Am I saying that right? Yeah, yeah. Just yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, 1985. Okay, back to test that initial balance then. Again, technically, here's your low that created this high. We're still holding flow zones. This is still bullish until it fails underneath of here, and then maybe a rotation. I might be dreamboat scenario right now because everything else is telling me this probably wants to drift higher. VIX trading low of day. We will see. And Trumpy boy coming soon. That hourly candle didn't quite reach the top of supply, or the bottom of supply, I should say, on the H1. On an H1. Watching this. Came into this imbalance here, but really I was watching this supply into around this section here, so didn't quite make it. So how do we act at value area high? This here, and do we fail back inside? And was this a push to fail? That's the question. Clean these up. Make sure you're on the right chart. Yeah, got you on the right chart. Sellers still at 45, 50, and 55. Morning, Foster Scott. Yeah, still drifting higher. Again, that old pivot on ES coming up the bottom side of it. All right, the low of that wick we're about to tap into right now. It can trade further upside here and chomp into some supply. If it really gets going, we can expect ES then to try and do that sort of full cup and handle or inverted head and shoulders and build out liquidity between 125 and 135. If ES stays up there and builds out liquidity, it's going to build that liquidity for an upside move. Put some context on that. That would be the equivalent of NQ building out liquidity between 22,100 and 22,025. That shows how weak the Qs are right now. All right, ES right now doing the equivalent right now of being up here. Oh, sorry, slamming the mic. Sitting on my hands. I'm waiting for that failed auction now for a move back down because my ego is the only thing that can be saved by that move. And we all know egos are horrible. Horrible, horrible things are egos. No room for them in the trading community. We're sitting above that range now, so it can very easily just base and go higher if it wants. 5 minutes left until the top of the hour. I'm in ES. I'm reading someone's comments rather than me saying that. In ES at 6,123.25. What do you think is a safe spot? I'm in ES. You're talking long. I mean, I don't know your entry there. I don't love the longs up here, if I'm honest. I'm looking at 5-minute chart. Let me have a look. 23, 25. I mean, really, your stop is actually really above your entry. This can come all the way down to 2150 right now. And it can dig lower and backtest the breakout down towards 19s. So I'd say your entry is a little bit late. On a 1 minute, you're extended from flow zones. On a 2 minute, you are. On a 3 minute, you are. On a 5 minute, you're just pumping higher. So I can't really give you a stop which will offer you nice advice there based on where you are. I think your entry is a little late. You might be all right because it might end up squeezing for you, but I think your entry is probably a little late there. I'm guessing you played that flag on that break around 10:52, 10:51, somewhere around there. So it's got to hold your entry. And if not, it's got to hold 2250. If it doesn't hold that, then I think it trades back down to 2125. If it doesn't hold that, it comes and retests the 19s. That's my thinking. You trade your way, though, right? Don't want to say how you've done it is wrong. If this wants to keep squeezing, great. But I'd say the entry might be a bit of a chase up there if you've taken that. Doesn't mean it can't squeeze higher, right? Does not mean it can't squeeze higher. Yeah, Foster Scott. Gotta love the inside days, man. Knowing when to sit on the hands more and when not to. Don't become the liquidity for everybody else. Yeah, ranges love to rotate, exactly. Build the liquidity back and forth and back and forth and back and forth until one side is sufficiently trapped and then abuse them. But that so far, IB holding up very, very nicely here. Everything trend bullish right now in terms of this session. Basing above range created overnight, basing above point of control. Does it backtest value area high on the session? Does it backtest initial balance high, or has that backtest it's done enough? And now are we just going to go squeezing through 50s, 60s, 70s and test the top of this range? Shorts will become present if it fails. All right, if we get pushes that start to fail and get stuck down here in the range, maybe we come and attack the lower side. But so far we are holding this. Remember, this was supply, which we back tested, held. This can be a higher low if we get a breaker structure, a new squeeze point higher. But I've missed my entry. I sat here, talked you through it all morning, didn't take it, lacked the confidence. I've just got to admit that to myself. I lacked the confidence to take this long today on this move. And I will not be chasing it up here. Here's the new hour. Remember Trump talking, we don't know what he's going to say. But watching how we act here into the IB. Halix, I've been missing the action for a while, but I'm back. I'm inside ES as well. Got a double bottom on the trendline break 26117. Target 24s and 27s. Oh, you're about to hit your top target. Lovely. Yeah, trading into that supply that we talked about, the bottom of that supply on ES. So old IB basically is where we're about to trade into on ES. Extension through that will be to previous day high. ES looking very, very strong. Very, very strong. Trying to see if I can find any Trump comments here. Relative strength. In the SPY, relative strength again. Why is that relative strength there? Because if you look at the indexes, the Mag 7 is a mixed bag. Mag 7's heavier weighted into the Qs. Just had an auction just print there as well. Just see it. 2-year note. So hit your targets there, Mike. Looks very good. Runners only now as you re-attack that supply level. Like I said, if ES wants to build sideways up here, you can have that. No worries, BU. Hope you're good. If ES builds sideways out here, it's going to build potential liquidity for another move. Might not be today, but the longer it hangs out here, you get that sort of right shoulder on an inverse kind of look. That kind of look is what I would say. No worries, BU. Have a good day, mate. Thanks for dropping in to say hello. Squeezing higher in the market. Left here like a lemon. Still that seller on the book at 50s. He's still not fully filled. And above him at 55. And they're not much above. Pretty thin above right now. No like big magnets to be drawn to above him. Is this a 3-drive and failure? 1, 2, 3. Do they start to roll over the other way? Haven't seen any comments from Trump yet. I am looking out for them in case there's something. Volume being exchanged here for sure. These are big volume bars. I don't see any comments yet. Yes, right into the supply here. No closure above or through. I'm just watching really carefully here to see if there's some form of rotation. Yeah, exactly, Mike. Exactly. And a previous day high up there as well. I mean, there is something for it to aim for. I mean, it has so much strength in this market, but if it can build out sideways, it's going to give itself more of a chance. If it can trap more intraday shorts in the market, it will give itself more of a chance, unless the sentiment is so bullish that we just continue to expand, which is possible. VIX trading right at low of day. Do they need to come and clean out some of these people here on the Qs, right? Do they need to do a quick move like this and then absorb? Or maybe then we get that failed auction and rotation lower. But so far, sentiment's pretty strong. I'm actually surprised that the market hasn't needed to go lower. But maybe that relief day on Apple has helped. But it is starting to trade back inside a little bit now on Apple. I'm watching it into 225 here. No worries, Mike. Yeah, glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, T, I see that. I've got the link now, just seen it. He's actually talking now at Davos. Same rhetoric, I'm sure. Can't believe you just said that. Totally inept group of people. Oh my god, dude. Like, this guy's got no chill. No chill. All right, watching if they can clean this out a little bit here. Sorry. That has tickled me quite a lot. Oh no, don't go off. I was enjoying that. He was making me giggle. Totally inept group of people. He's such a savage, isn't he? He is a savage the way he talks. All right, clearing out these levels here. I'm watching. I'm going to be honest. I'm watching for this failed auction. If they don't hold this, oh my god, why does my YouTube keep doing that? Can I find it? That's really annoying. I'm watching Bloomberg. Here we go. He looks younger. Yeah, he does. He looks less orange and younger. He's talking about how high inflation is. Market won't like that. All right, I'm in very small size here, team. Just seeing if the market wants to be kind to me and let my ego off the hook and rotate. But basically, he's just criticizing the Dems before him, saying that they did a horrendous job. Now he's talking about the new policies he's put in place. If we're going to really fail IB, I'm going to watch for that move back towards the lows. Coming into value area high here, those old hourly wicks. All right, we're coming into the old hourly wicks right here. If we're going to start to fail these, why does it keep putting me on an arrow? Super annoying. If we're going to fail these, I'm going to look for the rotation into point of control. If we fail this, I'm going to look to see if we're going to come and clean these out. If it holds this, then still IB will hold and bullish structure remains, all right? All the time it's heavy against 30. If it reclaims and squeezes, no bueno. I'll be a break even again. Oh, he's talking about crypto. Crypto bros be loving that. Crypto bros would be loving that. All right, if they put the squeeze on here, it will be through here. Otherwise, think about this. They put the squeeze on here, it'll be this play up here. So he's saying he's going to get rid of 10 of the Biden's per new regulation he puts in place. Here we go. Let's go. My ego is gonna enjoy this one. Let's go. Let's go. Ego play. Let's go. Taking some partials into this. Woo! Closing some more out. Ego getting filled on that dumperooski for the failed auction. Oh, God. Have to laugh. ES still holding previous day close here and the IB, all right? Half the reason I'm covering some here is for that. Maybe we can get really heavy here, all right? We never washed this liquidity. If it gets trapped under here, like I said, if we get trapped under here, rotation to here. If we fail this, rotation back down. Ego play, let's go. Yeah, three drives, man. 3 drives, and this liquidity became fairly obvious. So once we did this, push, pull, fail, covering some here. If we reclaim this now, I'd be cautious about this. But really, sentiment telling me down here right now. Got one eye on the ES, just for that initial balance and previous day close. We start to be inside that range. We might start real going for a Pukarooski. Yeah, totally. Yeah. You cannot compare their core skills, their ability to narrate, regardless of. I'm not going to talk about politics and anything like that. Regardless of who you support, it is refreshing to have a president that can at least explain what they're going to do, whether you agree with it or not. At least at least we can have a little movement in the market. But what I would like him to just stop criticizing the past president now. That was fine all the time that he was looking to build his campaign against Biden. But like, you're in office now. Like, let that shit go. Like, just say, this is what I'm going to do. I don't think he needs to be like, the last president was completely inept and this is what I'm going to do. All he needed to say is like, these are the policies I'm going to put in place. So I'm watching that squeeze now. Like I said, my cover points were here. Got some on the extension. Being very cautious now if it's going to do this and a play up. ES, very, very bullish, holding previous day close and the initial balance, all right? That is very bullish from the ES. Very, very different, because we are right now on ES, we're the equivalent of being up here, guys, all right? ES just did this move. There's light shining all over the world. All I hear is Shane Gillis all the time. So you'll notice that trade there, guys, on the higher time frame. What did I say? If it's going to fail, we're watching covers into point control. Have to respect point control. That's where the volume was today. So 3 drives up here, failed, point control, soaked, trade back to supply now. So I'm not over holding my players today. Why am I not over holding them? Because we're in range rotation day. This is still an inside bar. All right, this is still an inside bar. All right, all the action today is building liquidity. When we're ready, we're going to go boom and come and take this guy out. All right. It might need to come down here and do it first. But this is all about building liquidity to trap shorts for bulls to get involved in. And this was the play I missed. This is the play I took. 3 drive, fail into that. I just find it so funny, man. Like, I can't help it. As a Brit, it's just so funny to hear this stuff. You just never get this in politics in the UK. We're far too polite. We say sorry before we even do anything else. I think I probably do it on stream all the time. Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. Oh, God. Inclusion nonsense. Wow. He's not making any friends, is he? Okay, so top of the range failing again. Same plays might set up again here. Here we go. Failing again. Top of that range. Did we steal liquidity? So we've left a double top up here. I'd be very concerned about this if I was short right now, that we've left this very, very clean. ES has done the same. Can still do this move, which would concern me. I feel much better about the shorts once it proves itself now. But honestly, I've made my money on that play. Look at the flow zone starting to flatten out, starting to base. Everything's getting close. Lower time frame algo, VWAP, deep pullback, flow zones. They're all in 20 points. Not like when we have pro trends or big trends where we have these expansive moves. Beautiful. Flow zones, lower time frame algo. Flow zones, deep pullback. Flow zones, deep pullback. Flow zones, flow zones, flow zones, flow zones, flow zones. Easy. This is your easy money. All right, that's your easy money. This is not easy money, guys. All right, this is tough trading. Even though we've had some calls today, which have been really good. Hopefully you guys have executed better than I have. Millions. Oh, man. Sorry, guys. Probably a bit unprofessional of me to laugh like that, but I find it hilarious. It's not that I love or hate him. I just find it funny. If you've ever watched British politics, it is as far from how we act as possible. We're like, oh, yeah, sorry about that, old sir. It's completely different. Right, that's enough from him. I'll watch the highlights later. He's just making me laugh. I can already predict everything he's going to say. He's the same rhetoric. Biden shit. I'm amazing. I'm going to stop this world war. I'm going to stop this. We're not going to fund anymore. I've talked to Zelensky. I've talked to Putin. We're going to form a deal there. Iran aren't going to be a threat anymore. We're going to make a great army. We're going to make America great. We're going to have the best economy ever. But first of all, we've got to fix all the shit everyone else has put in place. Blah, 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 blah. Same stuff. Just wait until we get Boris back, Tia. Boris is never coming back. He's got to be better than that cretin that's in right now. What an absolute idiot. For those who don't know, who are American, our current Prime Minister, when asking Hamas to release the Israeli hostages, he said, quote unquote, and no, I'm not joking, we must release the sausages. I'm being fucking deadly serious here. He called hostages sausages. So that's our Prime Minister. So I find it all hilarious. Imagine that. Imagine calling hostages sausages. Yeah, I'm not joking, Tyson. I'm deadly serious. Look up Keir Starmer. We can do it on stream. If you want to have a laugh, I'll happily do it on stream. It is hilarious. Too much. It's too much. You can't make this stuff up, can you? Like, these are our world leaders. Jesus Christ. Is there no one better for the job out there, honestly? You gotta just make me laugh. Oh, God. Sorry, guys. I'm getting off topic here, aren't I? Yeah, TR. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Keir Starmer, what an absolute twat. Yeah, it's so good. Like, some of the best stuff you've ever seen. Sorry, I just got people checking in on me, worried that I'm in the fire. If you didn't see, there's a new fire in California, so but I'm all good. I'm just letting this settle down now. Oh, yeah. Who said I'm not entertaining? Yeah. I guess when I'm not in a trade and when there's funny shit going on, like, you just got to laugh. You've got to laugh. Here for a good time, not a long time. You've got to have fun, eh? We've got to at least have some fun sometimes. Thank God he talked the way he did. He got my ego trade for me. Added some more money to the account. Oh, God. Mindful Matters, it's become a circus with the world leaders. Yeah, it has. It has. Luigi, that's funny. Oh, Lady Bishop the other day. The best part about that is when she talks about, when she's like, I ask you, towards the end, she's like, I ask you, Mr. President, consider there's scared children in the world, there's scared gays, there's scared lesbians, there's scared trans. And if you see JD Vance look at his wife, they're like, what the fuck is going on? We're in church. And then afterwards, when it cuts to the media and they go to Trump, what did you think? And he just throws it back at them. And he's like, well, what did you think? And they don't say anything. He goes, I thought it was very boring. It wasn't very good. We won't be using her again. Just completely crushed her. He doesn't give a flying F about anyone. Oh, God, it's too much, man. Is this real? We live in a sim. The more I see this stuff, the more I believe it. And I don't know if anyone's interested. I finished that Rogan podcast the other day. We're going slightly off topic from trading here, but like the market's chopping, so maybe you can excuse me for being slightly off topic. If you're watching the market, I'll tell you that there's a seller of 110 lot at 955, very, very thin above that. Then seller at 22,069 lot, 2250, 61 lot, 22,100. ES looks much, much stronger. ES approaching previous day high. All right, so I'm not really interested in NQ and what it's doing right now. It's just chopping around. So, getting back to it, talking about living in a sim. I know this is off subject. Bear with me. But there was a good podcast the other day, which was on Rogan, and it was, I shared it with the team, the guy that did his big toe, isn't it? My big toe. Thomas Campbell. Really interesting. Anyone that's interested in his theory that we are all a simulation is actually really interesting. And the more that I see stuff like today, stuff like sausages, it just seems like bad coding, a glitch in the matrix. All right, so failures here, back to V up. I am really interested if they're going to let this go for a full rotation down here. I am interested if it's going to do that. But the low-hanging fruit on ES really does look like that previous day high, but maybe they're finding a little bit of supply here. How much do I want to slam this? That's the question. Looking at 5 minute. Really, we're still pivoting on this section here, so I have to obey until we get underneath, really, from a technical standpoint. Be smart, Alex. Be smart. Is he still talking? That's the other thing. I'm sure he is. He loves to talk, right? So he's talking about work with the Saudi prince to discuss Middle East stability, regional security, counter-terrorism acts, Saudi economic ambitions with trade opportunities together for the next 4 years. He's saying that he's going to demand that interest rates drop immediately. Just so you know, technically he can't do that. All right, the Fed are independent from him, so he can have an opinion, but it's up to Powell what happens, just so that you understand that. And yeah, like I said, he's going to talk about securing peace in Russia. So that all playing out right now. Let's see if we can get up on this screen. It's a bit easier for me to watch then. But very predictable what he's saying right now, I would say. So still structure, still holding bullish. That upside target on ES to previous day high still looks like low-hanging fruit, in my opinion, right now. Yeah, Luigi. I mean, basically the thought process is that what we call God and what people think about is really just, if I can get live here, is really just consciousness. It's interesting. It's an interesting food for thought. It makes me feel happy that I teach, because this is probably teaching to trade is way more fulfilling for me than trading, which is nice because I don't. Money's great, but it is nice to have a community and do something together. Like I said, these equal highs here just look ripe. Absolutely ripe. Camille, no. The initial balance is the first hour, my friend. So the first hour of the New York Open, that would be your initial balance. So New York opened here. This is the high within the first hour between 9:30 and 10:30. This is the low. So this becomes the initial balance. When we're holding above it, we're looking for trend up. When we get stuck above and get stuck in here, we're thinking about a rotational play back down. When we're below it, we're looking for either failed auction underneath or confirmed trend lower. All right, Trump now finished talking. No worries, Camille. You're talking about energy now. Right, here's your seller at 945, 111 lot filled. You just got filled there, so he marketed down into that. Quite right, Jen. Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. So talking about inflationary pressure on domestic gas right now. Can you guys hear this? Is it too low? Do you want to hear it, or would you rather not hear it and I just tell you what's happening? You're listening that end. All right, TR.
can't get supplied because of
is that better?
Problems and other problems. So we would absolutely do that.
So pop in those stops now, like we talked about. Low hanging fruit. This is why I was like, I'm tempted to take the short, but I mustn't. Must obey structure. We held structure. Upside. Above initial balance. Upside. Red line, by the way, that I have in here. This is your anchored VWAP from yesterday's highs. All right, this is average price of sellers. We can probably move this into here. Where is? Bear with me a sec. I just want to clean this up. There we go. So coming into that anchored VWAP. Nice, Tyson. Take care, mate.
You're talking about a total investment of $25 to $30 billion, and it looked like it was going to end. They couldn't get their permits, and I got them done in less than a week. It was done completely. In fact, when they called them to announce that it was done, the countries, largely countries, Japan was involved, and another country, and some very big investors, they couldn't believe it. They actually couldn't believe it. And I said, just do yourself one favor. Don't pay any.
Everything he says is always the best, the biggest, and the fastest. Repeatable. Have you noticed that? I got it done in a week. It's the fastest it's ever been done. It's the biggest and the best way it's ever been done. And everyone told me how great it is. No matter what question, it's the same answer. Oh, I can't wait. The next 4 years is just going to be a comedy show. I love it. So good. All right, ES in its supply. It's attacking this. Yeah, exactly. Yes, and that's going to be amazing. 133.25 and then 61. Might as well call it 36. That's where it's looking to take out. Remember what I'm talking about on the ES. For those who are trading it. All right, it can start to build out like it did here. All right, and once it does that, this opens the gate for that upside move. If it just goes straight through, I'd be more concerned about a retest down here. But this last retest was pretty good as a bullish signature. So there's your anchored VWAP. These sellers now starting to be a little bit of pain here as we trade. Remember what we said this morning. I've got to go back to my key principles. If we get above these levels and base, which we have, this was a scoop down to here, then probably trade up to here. Once we get here, likely trade back down to here. If we get back through this, it opens a move very, very similar, same way, all the way up. Unlikely that we do this move today, I would say. Not totally against it, but more likely that we're looking at a rotation between these points right now. Go back to the very beginning today, I talk about that. I wouldn't want to be long up here, that's for sure. As in, I wouldn't want to be entering new longs up here. A bomb. Crawford, just on supply, where we based out yesterday, where we keep wicking down and wicking down and wicking down and wicking down. These are areas where no sellers are involved. If you're struggling to see it like that, just go to an hourly. Just mark the upside block, the block that moves upwards on an hourly or a 5-minute candle. Just mark that out instead. Right, so if we went... This 30-minute block is what I'm basically looking at. Wick. This block here is where sellers got involved. So that anchor VWAP holding up there, where those sellers were. This was the breakout. Do they retest and hold, or is this the rotation that we just talked about, backwards and forwards between supply and demand created today? ES starting to build out that liquidity we just talked about. I just went over it on the ES. 25 minutes left until we get into lunch now. Previous day close, still higher, all right, on Qs, all the way up here. Importance of that anchored view up so far. Yes, exactly, TR. The red line is anchored from the previous day high. Exactly that. 22,000 seller on the book, right? 90 lot up there at 22,000. 110 lot here at 65. 965, 110 lot. Just can't stop laughing, I'm sorry. Here's a wash off that anchored view up. So that average price of sellers being pretty strong, and the thought process of rotating in this level now starts to become more and more probable, doesn't it? Look how quickly that happened. Popped through, sellers came back in, back down to where we broke out from. This level here. Failure of here, back into here. Failure of here, back into low side. Choppy conditions. We are still in an inside bar. I cannot say it enough. You are in an inside bar in this market. There's very unlikely this market will print an outside bar today. We are going to build liquidity. To print an outside bar, we will have to get above previous day highs. I just do not see that happening today. Saying he's trying to get corporation tax to 15% in the US. I wouldn't be against that. That would be lovely. ES still looking good. ES low-hanging fruit is still at previous day high. NQ still looking like a possible rotation. So into this H1 block. Here. Probably trade backwards and forwards here. If it builds up enough, right, if it hangs out here, we get this. But more likely we trade backwards and forwards for a little bit. Santander, who I bank with back home. I'll be right back. Just going to use the toilet. Be right back. All right, team. He's still talking, eh? Daniel Wilcox, loving the anchored view up. Cheers, mate. Yeah, no worries. Powerful, aren't they? Super, super powerful. Whoa, where's my screen moved? What's going on there? Luigi, yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. That wouldn't surprise me. If you times at 5-10% across the amount of people with corporations in America, it would be a big loss in terms of taxes. They would have to make it up elsewhere. I left you on the wrong stream, didn't I? Sorry, team. So still building. Low hanging fruit here. Upside on ES would be previous day high. No, TR, I don't. Never, ever, ever, ever do I go lower than a 1 minute. And really, I don't really trade off a 1 minute. I'm trading off 5 minute, 15 minutes, and hourlies. I'm just executing on a 1 minute. But yeah, no, like zero reason to do that. For me. For me. So does this market want to come all the way up into the London high, which would be 63, Asia high, which would be 71, and potentially close the gap all the way up? It's very, very possible right now. So that Asia flat top, let's have a look. Around 70. Now he's talking about ending the war with Putin. I just got to chat this fire, guys, because I'm getting a lot of messages about it. That Hughes fire getting pretty big. There's the squeeze. Previous day high coming on ES. So into that supply block. About to take out the Asia levels now. ES very, very close to that previous day high. Remember, we talked about that being the low-hanging fruit. Can't be shorting this. It's trying to trade back upside now into this pivot. We get through here. 75s would be value area low from yesterday. If we trade all the way through to point of control, it would be 22,023. Selling off there on that first tap into supply. Selling in front of previous day high there on ES. So some sell pressure coming there. Still haven't stolen all the liquidity, but clear level. Watching the book here. There are bids, 100 lot, 100 lot, 100 lot at 50, 45, and 40. And there are sells up at 80s and 90s. 50, 45, and 40 is where the bids are. They start to let go of this. Problematic. If this is frothy, problematic. Watching this closely. Big sell pressure there. Do they continue? Can they get a continuation here, or is it just absorbed? VIX not taking out previous day low, finding some bids off it. I'm watching here if they get sell continuation or if they're just going to rip this all the way back up. But like, we know this is supply. It's been marked out all morning. We know this is supply. A trade through here opens the gate for this. This is the low that they're trying to protect right now. They let go of that, they're in trouble. ES still hasn't taken out previous day high. It got very, very close on that last move. Interesting that SPY took out previous day high and ES did not. So SPY got a fail from that level. ES did not. That's interesting. A little divergence there in the futures against the ETFs. So you're saying Ukraine's ready to make a deal? They need Putin to come to the table, is what he's saying right now. So do we have one more drive and a fail here? Clean this up. I don't know. Or do we just hold and print all the way up? Ten minutes until we get into a new hourly bar into lunch. Remember, yesterday's value area low is into around 75. We've almost traded into that. If we get through that, yesterday's point of control where most of the volume is created is at 22,022. Right, that would be through this cash gap close. It would be up here if we went to point of control right here. I think that might be it, guys. Might be the end of the. I think that's the end of the questions. It's just a few thank yous. Do they start selling this now? If he's finished. Very surprised we didn't go and take previous day high there on ES, but we did on the ETFs, which is very, very interesting. Very rarely see things like that happen. Right, that's the end of that meeting. So no more Trump statements to worry about unless he's going to get interviewed by press or something. So watching to see if that's the end of this rally, and then now going to get a rotation lower, which starting to look like potentially possible. Do we come back to view up and clean some of this out? Sellers are still on the book higher, but they haven't been filled. I am watching this closely, starting to try and participate a little bit for washes, just taking partials on the way down as we go and clean out this liquidity. Counter trend, I know, counter trend, but looking for a deeper wash now that he's finished. Really odd that SPY took the levels, the highs out, and that ES didn't. Looking in more here. There's a lot of liquidity higher. So this was the level where those buyers were right here. What did I say? Into 40s, 50, 45, and 40. They just all got filled. Now very, very thin down below until we get back down to 800. Upside, they're still hanging on the tape. They want to get filled. 100 lot, 100 lot, 100 lot. At 75, at 80, and at 22,000. Right, so I've covered most of my position into there. It is counter trend. I know it's counter trend, but we are reacting in a range. This is still a range. I know we're above this, but this is still a range. What did I say? Likely to trade from here back to here. We can chop like this. If we fail this, then we chop beneath. If we get above, then we chop back upside. This is still all inside bars. We're just trading zone to zone, all right? We're trading flow zones, but we're trading zone to zone. Once we got above this zone, we were likely to trade to this zone, and we were likely to trade from there back to this zone. If we get above this red zone, I will convert it to blue, and then we are likely to trade back to this zone, and if we get through there, to this zone. All right, so I'm playing edges today through multiple time frames because I don't want to play trend today. I really don't want to play trend. My thesis today is that it's looking to build liquidity. It's not looking for a trend day today. Have I missed every long opportunity? Absolutely, yes, I have. No doubt about it. I have missed the long opportunities. Looking for lower for me to be comfortable about grabbing longs. We're only, 6 minutes away? Just over 6 minutes away from lunch. Not a bad session. For a chop day, I will take it. Decent money locked in. You can see how good these zones are, all right? Make sure you're marking them out each day. Make sure you understand the anchored VWAP. Make sure you understand what supply is, what demand is, when they flip. Remember, this was red earlier. I flipped it to blue. Why? Resistance becomes support. If we just zoom out, I can do a very, very quick lesson here for you guys. If we zoom out, let's go to a 30-minute. Right, if I was going to put a 1 moving average on this, it would look like this. All right, that's what a 1 moving average would look like right now. In fact, we can just do this even easier. Let's just make it a line chart. So you can see the zones, all right? This earlier was supply. We could move this down like this on a line chart, but on a 30-minute, it would be a bit lower. On a 15-minute, there you go. Once we got above it, we know that this is now where short sellers down here, this is their pain point. All right, so they stopped out. There's their stop out. There's their retest. This is them getting break even. Now we squeeze up. This is supply. How do we know it's supply? Look at this level. Failed, retest. Failed again, retest. Failed lower lows, retest. Failed away from it. Lots of sellers are in here. So once we get a rotation from here, we expect it to come and test this. From here, we're looking for signatures to come back down. If we trade through this and these sellers become buyers, I would move this to blue and I'd be looking for the next zone right here. Trade up into there, same thesis. From here, possible short rotation back down. If they don't get it and they set a squeeze, breakout, retest, go again. Really, really, really simple stuff. Don't need to overcomplicate it. When you're struggling, just use a line chart or use a 1 moving average. It will make life so much easier for you. But really, this session's been pretty small. We opened here. We're like, what's this, like 60, 70 points higher? Consider the last 2 days have been 350 plus points. You can see while I was expecting a chop day, getting stuck at that anchored view up again. Trying to tell myself stop trading because I've made good money now in the session. Those sellers that were up there, they're trying to get filled now. They're starting to pull and trying to get filled. So this is making me think that they're going to let this wash a bit lower right now because those sellers are starting to remove those 100 lots. They've gone. The only 100 lot is up at 22,000. So they either just got filled on that last push up and I missed it, but I don't think that's the case. I think they've just pulled. Yeah, they have. They've pulled their orders. The 75, 80, 85, they've halved their orders in size. They're still there, but they're halved their orders in size. I can see it on the book map. Right, so you've got 3 minutes until closure. Again, see the importance of the higher time frame. Point of control. Reclaimed it. Rotation to supply. Old value area low. Confluence to sell into that. So if you're long, partial into that. If you're short, looking for short setups back down into here now. If we get through it, we turn this into demand, looking for a move into point of control. Reclaim that, move into top of this supply block. Super, super, super simple. Just don't get caught in the trades in between those ranges. You need to know where it wants to go. Once you know where it wants to go, is there a way of getting involved? P&L today is about just $2,000 or so. Just traded a couple accounts, $2,000. That's all I've traded. Both of those on Traderfy accounts. And I'll take that on a choppy day like today. I will take that all day, every day. How many trades? Maybe 3? Maybe 3. Yeah, 3 maybe. Dow and Russell. Yeah, YM up over 0.5%. Russell doesn't look great. Let me have a look at that. Oh, that is a nice spike off it. Off that gap down. That's a very nice move upside. Yeah, very clean. Third Nation Inc. Yeah, no worries. It takes a while. It takes a while to understand everything. It's just a language, isn't it? Once you understand the lingo, once you understand the language in front of you, this is a language, really. It's telling you what it wants to do. This is telling you, hey, I'm demand down here. This is telling you, hey, I'm going to sweep everyone, scoop. Hey, I want to go back to here. Hey, I'm supply. Hey, maybe I'm going to trap everyone and go and take these guys out. Like this. As I say it. Yeah, it's just a language. It just takes a minute. But yeah, the key thing for me, look how SPY took out previous day high and ES didn't. That is fascinating for me. It's so rare you will see something like that. So rare. So right now, this low here is the key low. This one here. This low created this high. They're going to look to attack this and then maybe wash. There you go. Just did it. So we just talked about it 1 minute ago when we're here. Right, trap, trap, trap. Stuck here. Rotation from here. Cover point here. If they continue, they come back down into these levels. If this is a trap here, they soak off here and go back up. Why might we do that? Because we're in rotation. Right, very easy and possible. Failure of blue box, and then you get a rotation deeper. back down to here. Yeah, so we could have a blue box down here for now, kind of thing. So then we chop in these zones. So chop between these, chop between these. So we want to trade this zone, and this zone, and nothing in between them, really. Why do I say nothing in between? Let's say you take a short here. Your risk would have to be up here, and your profit is there. So it's probably not even a 1-to-1 right now. Runners would pay you more. It's not ideal. So you're into lunch now as well. So just be aware, team, you're into lunch now as well. Any questions before I sign off? That was a little bit of a different day here on stream, but I needed a bit of relief after watching the market all morning with Mr. Trumpy. It's nice relief sometimes to have a bit of a joke on stream. What happens at lunch? We eat food with the market. I had no idea. Again, I'm just expecting an inside day today. It's all I'm expecting. I'm expecting an inside day. No worries. Well, if Trump helped me sell a course, then I hope he speaks a little bit more then. Oh. What is Nightbot? Oh, it's just like an automated system that's telling you what's for sale and stuff. That's all it is. It's just a chat bot, I guess. All ships rise with Trump. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Funny old market. Funny old market right now. But it's been fairly predictable, which has been nice, I would say. It's been I was worried that when he came in, it would become a very unstable, unpredictable market, but it's being fairly predictable. Really, it looks like it's just going to trade lower prices now. Where is this 930? We can think about something like this, team. Yeah, that's kind of your channel for the day. If you start to get stuck here, don't be surprised if it wants to come and attack this. If it shows weakness here, remember, demand is all the way down here. Higher time frame demand's right down here. It can do this move if it wants. Don't force your way in and keep buying and buying and buying and buying. Right? If it's completed its job upside, which was the move towards previous day high on the ES, and it wants to move into a sell signature for the rest of the day, it can. If it wants to continue to chop between zones, all right, then we're going to go from here to here and backwards and forwards and from here to here. Just be smart. All right, team. Anything else before I sign off? Here's the sell. Like we said, once he finished, probable sell. Look at this weakness in the market. I'd probably just sort of slam that short when I was talking about it. Right down to the IB, back down to demand, back down to VWAP, back down to low time frame algo, back down to that trend line. All right, be smart here, be smart here. If you're in this short, start covering a little bit of your position. Looking at the Mag 7, looks like Microsoft caused most of the chop. Others moved a bit cleaner. I haven't looked too much at the chart since the open, but I mean, Apple's selling off 1.5% off its high. I know it's down 0.1%. But it was up almost 1.5%. So that was a back test to sell. No worries, Kathy. No worries, Mindful Matters. I will be back same time tomorrow. All right, Freaky Fridays. Let's have a good end of the week. All right, I'm not going to predict what we're going to do tomorrow. Right now, we're trading. I'm going to leave you with this. Right now, we're trading into value area high on the session. If we start letting go, a trade into point of control becomes possible. I'm not going to call what we're going to do tomorrow until I see where we close today. Where we close today is important. What would I love? I'm probably not going to trade this afternoon, so I'd love you guys to just stay here so that this trade is possible for me tomorrow, or this trade here. So if you just chop all day, that'd be great. I'd be super happy with that. But if you start letting go of these, don't be surprised if it wants to come into here. If we start to reclaim here, possible pump higher. Otherwise, trading between those ranges we've been talking about all morning. You cannot overstay your welcome. Do not get short in demand. Do not get long in supply. All right, don't do it. Respect the charts in front of you. Please respect the charts in front of you. Thanks everyone who turned up today. Hopefully it didn't upset too many of you when I just had a bit of a laugh for a bit and had some relief from the market for a moment to have a bit of laugh. See you guys tomorrow. Please do me a favor. Share this stream with some friends. Help me grow this stream. All right, I keep saying it. The quicker this stream goes, the more likely it is for me to be able to have conversations with Brett and have regular giveaways on Traderify. Same with Apex and all these things. Apex is a bit harder to deal with. But the quicker this stream goes, the more giveaways I can give back to you guys. All right, and I'd love to be able to do that. All right, big love. Use hard stops. Say it every time. Use hard stops. Be kind to each other. Discord team, I'll see you tomorrow. Peace and love.